what to expect from him, what to see in him. And the answer of this book is very clear. It's a very, very profound book on Guru Tatwa. I mean, nothing is as incredible as Sri Guru and His Grace, which is just an outstanding book, but it comes in the same line of devotional thoughts on the same subject. Now, that the Guru is the one you are supposed to become, like when you enter into the school of the spiritual master, when you get initiation. Why you want to be initiated? Why in the world you want to be initiated in a certain family, in a certain cult, culture? Why? Well, the answer is because you do appreciate what they stand for. You do appreciate the feeling of it. You do appreciate the context of the philosophical explanation. And you think, that seems to be just the best and wonderful thing for my life. So, if you take initiation, that means you think this is the best for me and my family and my kids. Because supposedly a father and mother, for their kids, they want the best. So if you really want the best, then you should make sure that you get initiated in the best which you can find. So then if you take initiation, then you have to represent this ideal. And as you know, there's 4 regulative principles. They're not easy to follow. I mean, yes, they're not so difficult to follow either, but I mean, over the long time, the years to follow the 4 regulative principles, you see sometimes we have seen older devotees say, smoked marijuana again, or they got drunk again, or they had sex again. So you can say, well, it doesn't seem to be that easy to follow it through, all the way through the end, no? Till you die. But you see the 4 regulative principles, they're like protection. They're simply to keep you protected. It's for you. You are the one who needs to be a guru, and they're the guru protecting principles. Because the guru, he is the representative of such a high, lofty message of Goloka Vrindavan. Can you imagine when the Gaudiya Vaishnavas start talking about the bhavas of realization in the spiritual world, and when we read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, you know what Prabhupada said about Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? He said, I did not publish this book because I thought anybody would be able to understand this. I published this book for people to know that such a thing exists. Now, that's a different story altogether, no? That such a thing exists, that Krishna consciousness exists, that God exists, that bhakti exists, that love exists, that the jiva exists, that devotional service exists, that it is possible to become detached from the material world, that exists. You see, the whole thing is very, very amazing. It's very interesting too. What exists? You are eternal. You have a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead living as Super Soul Paramatma inside your heart. Wow! That's an information. Who gives you this information? That God lives within your heart and He watches you all the time and He loves you. Who has given you that information? Let's look upon Christianity. What do they say? Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. So, Father in the heavens, Son who knows where, and the Holy Ghost, that may be something like the Paramatma conception or the Brahman conception, means truth everywhere, connectiveness everywhere. So that, okay, then we say, but like in the Vaishnava faith, Krishna is present in the heart of you with all His power and potential presence. He can correct you, He can chastise you, He can gratify you, He can help you to understand deep things which are very difficult to understand, but He can immediately give you the, yes, incredible joy. Guru Deva. They say better late than never. After you sang this sweet Mangal Artik, we heard you singing so nicely. Give me this. Oh, and even ginger today. My God, this is luxury. Wow. Ginger. Anybody else? No, don't give away all of that. I may need them. It was just special. Anyhow, good morning. Radhe Sham. Jai Gurudev. Anyway, so this Guru Tatwa business, which this book explains so nicely. You can buy this book. I just got some copies. They were sent to me by the disciple of the Guru who wrote this book. This book is our Bhakti Balabhtirtha Maharaj, and Bhakti Balabhtirtha Maharaj, he is the one who we made the Samadhi in the beginning of this Kartik. And we're going to have another ceremony when the Samadhis actually arrive. So, Let me give you a resume. A resume, oh, Kalki also. Slowly, the meeting is getting interesting, no? It gives you a very good feeling if you make an English joke and the Latin American community's response was laughing. That means they're really starting to understand something, no? So this book is available. You can get it from my room. Give it to you for 150, 200 rupees because they just gave it to me without bill because they love us so much. So I don't even know what's the real price, but I know it's 200. It's all color printed inside, so it's a little fancy. And hardbound, you know, a hardbound book, you know, this is really solid, no? So, Guru Tatwa, so you get a lot of information here, which you get a lot of information here, how you become a guru. You know, when you accept initiation in Krishna consciousness, it is like joining medical school. When you join medical school, you're supposed to become a doctor. As a matter of fact, if you are 4 years into medical school, you sometimes go in the hospital and you act as if you're a doctor, but you're not a doctor yet, but because you have to act as a doctor so that one day you'll be a doctor and you also have that full charge. So if you study Krishna consciousness, you're meant to become a spiritual teacher of the values of Krishna consciousness. That's as simple as it is. And then the question starts to arise. When did he become a guru? When does he become a doctor? In medical school you have a graduation, you even get a certificate, you say now he is an MD. Medical doctor, okay. It doesn't mean he's, in South America we call them matasanos. Most doctors are public dangers. They don't really know what is it all about, and they're not very cautious. So even though many people get the MD certificate, doesn't mean that they are becoming good doctors. So just from that point of view, comparatively speaking, many people join Krishna consciousness and they don't really deeply understand what it's all about, and therefore they don't practice very profoundly, and therefore their capacity of giving it to others is very superficial, is lacking. But Srila Bhakti Maharaj wrote in Sri Guru in His Grace, because the doctors are not all perfect, should we discard the medical profession? That's not possible. So we have to accept that we get a whole bunch of mediocre Shiksha gurus because we are teaching new gurus. We have to accept that. That is a reality. Now, who are those Uttama Adhikaris or these Satgurus who are of a higher level of spiritual realization? That has been the discussion which goes on forever. People are discussing from different points of view. They're different. They say maybe yes, maybe not, maybe he, maybe another one. Maybe this one is the Yuga Acharya, or maybe that one is the top notch of the cream of guruship and all that. And that in ISKCON specifically, they discussed like for 20 years, what about the most neophytes, like which is Kanishta is called. What about the Kanishta gurus? Well, is there such a thing as a Kanishta guru to begin with? Can there be a Kanishta guru? Or does the guru at least has to be a Madhyam Adhikari? And what to speak of the Uttama Adhikari? So they have discussed it up and down, left and right, and they have not come to any conclusion. Who can be a guru? When can he be a guru? Who can authorize him to be a guru? And they totally forget that Srila Prabhupada wrote in his books that everybody has to become a guru. That they have not really made it out. What does that mean? What does it really mean? It means we have to go ahead with this Krishna consciousness full speed, full energy, at the best level possible. I mean, give you a practical example. Prabhupada sent out new devotees to open new centers. Now what do you expect from those new devotees? They may be 2 years in the movement, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. What do they know of Gaudiya Siddhanta and all the things? What do they know? If they don't know much, how do you expect them to do anything on behalf of the parampara? Why Gurudev would send a neophyte out to make a new center? Good question, no? The answer is medical urgencies. There are so many sick people out there, it's better they get a little bit than no information about Lord Chaitanya. If we wait for only Uttama Adhikaris to show up for preaching, we may keep waiting till the end of times. So, therefore, Prabhupada teaches us that we have to take the risk of going out and giving what has been given to us. We take the risk of being neophyte doctors, neophyte preachers. And in our Brahminical guardian principles, we want the temples to be very, very baka, very nicely organized. But the temple presidents usually don't know what that means. So we have to train the temple presidents to how to run a temple so that the people will be fully benefited by that spiritual community. That means if you are in a temple, you are in a permanent training ground. You are the trainee. You may train others also as part of your training, but still you are being trained. We are always being trained. It will never stop being trained. Krishna consciousness. Nobody will ever feel I'm a master. And if somebody says, I know who's Krishna, I know what this is all about, then we offer our obeisances to him, but from a very safe distance. We don't want to be influenced by people who claim, I have it, I know it. Oh, Gurudev! This body's getting tired from all this parikramana. How was yesterday in Nandagram? Big kirtan?
Lovely. Yeah. Yes. Cute.
Yes?
Yes.
the Brahmins were happy with you coming there? Yes? Huh? To get a little money. But they didn't give you much trouble?
No.
No.
That's okay.
Because we chanted all the time.
That's the medicine. Keep chanting and everything will be fine. That goes for any